The burning bush. God calls Moses. Long ago, after fleeing Egypt, Moses disappeared into the wilderness of Midian. The prince who had once lived in Pharaoh's palace was now a humble shepherd. 40 years had passed. The excitement of royal life had been replaced by the quiet rhythm of caring for sheep. Day after day, Moses crossed rocky hills, searched for fresh pasture, and rested beneath the shade of desert trees. Although he had built a peaceful life with his wife Zipporah and their family, the memories of Egypt never completely faded. Moses often wondered about his people, the Israelites. Were they still suffering under Pharaoh's cruel rule? Had God forgotten his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Unknown to Moses, God had been preparing him during every lonely year in the wilderness. The palace had taught him how to lead, but the desert had taught him humility, patience, and trust. The time had finally come for God to reveal his plan. One ordinary day, Moses led the flock beyond the wilderness to Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. The air was still, and the only sounds were the footsteps of sheep and the gentle wind moving through the rocks. Then something extraordinary caught his attention. A bush was on fire. Bright flames danced around its branches, yet the leaves did not burn away. The bush remained alive, untouched by the fire. Moses stopped in amazement. He had spent 40 years in the wilderness and had never seen anything like it. Curious, he said to himself, "I must go over and see this strange sight. Why isn't the bush burning up?" Slowly, he walked closer. As Moses approached, a voice suddenly called from the flames, "Moses, Moses." His heart raced. He answered, "Here I am." The voice spoke again, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Without hesitation, Moses removed his sandals. He realized he was standing in the presence of Almighty God. Then the Lord said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." At those words, Moses covered his face. He was afraid to look upon God. The mountain became completely silent. Then God spoke with compassion. "I have surely seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries because of their slave masters. I know their pain." Every tear, every cry, every prayer of the Israelites had reached heaven. God had never forgotten them. "I have come down to rescue them and bring them into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey." Then God gave Moses an unexpected mission. "So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. You must bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." Moses was overwhelmed. For 40 years he had avoided Egypt. He had escaped Pharaoh's anger. Now God was asking him to return. In humility, Moses asked, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" God answered with reassuring words, "I will be with you." It was all Moses needed to hear. Success would not depend on Moses' strength. It would depend on God's presence. Still uncertain, Moses asked another question. "If I go to the Israelites and they ask me, 'Who sent you?' what shall I tell them?" God answered, "I am who I am." Then he said, "Tell the Israelites, 'I am has sent me to you.'" God revealed himself as the Eternal One, the God who has always existed and always will, the God who never changes, the God who always keeps his promises. Yet Moses still struggled with fear. God then gave him a miraculous sign. "What is that in your hand?" "A staff," Moses replied. "Throw it on the ground." Moses obeyed. The staff instantly became a snake. Startled, Moses jumped back. Then God said, "Reach out your hand and take it by the tail." Though afraid, Moses trusted God. He reached down. The snake immediately became a shepherd's staff once again. Then God said, "Put your hand inside your cloak." Moses did so. When he pulled it out, his hand was covered with leprosy, white as snow. God instructed him, "Put your hand back into your cloak." He obeyed. When he removed it again, his hand was completely restored. God said, "If they still do not believe, take water from the Nile and pour it onto dry ground. The water will become blood." These signs would prove that the God of Israel had sent him, but Moses still hesitated. "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been an eloquent speaker. I am slow of speech and tongue." God replied, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them able to speak or unable to speak? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will help you speak and will teach you what to say." Even after hearing God's promise, Moses pleaded, "Please send someone else." The Lord became angry, but in his mercy, he provided help. What about your brother Aaron? He speaks well. He is already on his way to meet you. You will speak to him, and he will speak to the people for you." Moses finally understood. God was not asking him to rely on himself. He was asking him to trust the one who had called him. Moses returned to his home and spoke with Jethro. He said, "Let me return to my people in Egypt." Jethro blessed him and sent him on his way. Moses gathered Zipporah, their children, and took the staff of God in his hand. As he began the long journey toward Egypt, every step brought him closer to the place he had once fled in fear. But this time, he would not walk alone. The God who appeared in the burning bush would be with him. Ahead lay confrontations with Pharaoh, mighty miracles, devastating plagues, and the greatest rescue in Israel's history. God had called his servant, and Moses had answered. The journey of deliverance had begun. If God could transform a fearful shepherd into one of history's greatest leaders, he can also use ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary purposes. No matter your past, your weaknesses, or your fears, God's calling is always accompanied by his presence. For when God says, "I will be with you," that is enough. In the next episode, Moses returns to Egypt to confront Pharaoh, setting the stage for one of the greatest battles between God's power and earthly kingdoms ever recorded.